life in general. So years ago, we have, as consumers, we've always purchased things under the understanding, once we purchase it, depending on what it is, we own it free and clear, right? And then just over the years, it just seemed like big companies just got in the think tank and said, hey, people love our products, people like using our printers, our laptops, and they like access to our content, man. I mean, not access to content, you just very well have to pay. But once those prices start going up, you start really thinking like, man, this is getting kind of out of hand. Now, as for like computers and printers and various things of that nature, you kind of understand like, okay, man, I once I purchase it, I own it outright. In some cases, that may not be the case, right? So I want y'all to check out a few of these clips, and I'm gonna be back with my commentary towards the end.
HP just launched a subscription for laptops, $85 a month. You never own it.
In a world where if subscription service weren't successful, Microsoft's biggest software, home and office, is in a subscription service.
Everything is turned to subscriptions.
I'm really sick of these subscription services. I just went to my printer to go scan a document, and here's a picture. It wanted me to do a subscription service to use the scanner on my printer.
It is damn near impossible to cancel Adobe. I remember in college, they had the whole Adobe platform for $10 a month. Usually it's $59. Then like a year after I was out of school, they sent me an email saying the price was going to change back to the full price, $59 a month. And at first I was like, yeah, I'm going to pay it. But then I'm like, nah, I'm not paying this. I called up Adobe and they're like, oh yeah, if you want to cancel it, we have to charge you the entire year.
These subscriptions is getting out of hand, man. They charging way too much for nonsense. First it was, $4 or $5.99 a month and stuff like that, and then went up to $10, and now they're asking for more, $30, and then keep increasing prices and stuff. Like, yo, this is the whole point of why we left cable.
Let me make this so clear that you will never have to wonder about it again. I will never, ever, ever be paying for all of these subscriptions.
As you can see, it's really getting out of hand, and I think a lot of us in this country are getting fed up with the unnecessary subscriptions, man. Anytime companies are potentially even thinking about like leasing out their hardware, like your laptop, could you imagine like you just have to pay to use your laptop? It's just mind-blowing that that companies will go that far, to the point where the end user or the customer or the consumer has to pay to get access to actually use a laptop. That is just mind-blowing. I can definitely see with software, sometimes software, I think like Microsoft and Adobe, they lost to piracy on the back end for years and years and years. I think maybe to recoup all that, don't get me, I'm not siding with them, but it's getting crazy though. It's to the point where they should give the consumer the option to outright buy it and not kind of tie them into like some type of subscription. Things are hard enough as it is. Well, who's to say if you have your card on file and you got that subscription, and and then they go to pull the money for that subscription, and life is life. You paid all these various different things, and then you get hit with an overdraft. And like nowadays, some banks are just not as forgiving. And then the crazy thing about with some subscriptions, they make you jump through so many hoops to actually unsubscribe from their subscription. Whether it's like some type of reoccurring payment on some type of program on your phone, especially on your phone. It's crazy. They really make it so, they really make it hard for you to unsubscribe, because they're really kind of betting on the fact that once that auto pay, or if you got that money available in your account, it's gonna snatch it real quick, and then, you know, you may be in a situation where you might be at the grocery store and and this didn't happen to me personally, where I had a Netflix subscription, and it took the money out. It took the last little bit of money that I need to get food, and I was, man, I didn't get paid till like the following day. And at that point, I stopped doing auto pay on any of my subscriptions, and I always put it in an account that I know that I may not use as much, because I deal with fintech banks, and I mean, it's an online bank, and I always had it come out of that fintech bank. You know, I can kind of push money over there, you know, as needed, you know, and once that charge hits, you know, it kick it back if the funds are not on there. But let me know, what do y'all think about this whole subscription just mania, man? Do you think a lot of companies are just being greedy? And I know that probably blew a lot of y'all minds, where y'all probably seen the fact that they were potentially, I'm not sure if they were actually really implemented, like them using your laptop, you know, paying to gain access to your laptop, but the rabbit hole goes deep with subscriptions, man. All right, I appreciate y'all listening to what I gotta say, man. Leave a comment down below, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.